Some jobs require inner calm and outer strength. Celebrity protection, where your own safety must come second. Extreme farming in the South Pacific. And a lifetime in training, just to make knives. Which trade tops the Zen charts for you? Some jobs require a very special mindset, and you can only access them by first becoming an apprentice. And are you willing to put your life in danger protecting someone else? If so, then fall in with our trainee celebrity protectors on Max Alert in the streets of London, headquarters of a leading close protection and threat management company. Will Geddes is Managing Director of the International Corporate Protection Group, ICP. He's 39, and for 2 decades the rich and famous have entrusted him with their personal safety.
It is our responsibility and duty to ensure that we intercept and plan against any type of threat that could potentially present itself.
Will still works the front line, but specialises in training new recruits.
Welcome to your day of close protection training.
They're all physically fit and know some martial arts, but it's not enough.
I found myself accidentally getting into this industry when I was based in the Far East as a competitive martial artist. I got brought on by a number of Chinese businessmen who wanted a secure escort when they were traveling around with either sensitive documentation or with briefcases of cash. And in the most basic sense, they simply wanted to make sure they got to their destinations.
But Will soon found out there was more to the job than being a bodyguard. This multi-billion-dollar industry is tough to crack. Attitude comes first. The job isn't about muscle.
The qualifications for someone entering into close protection these days are far more exacting. They're far more highly professional. And individuals that may have even walked out of special forces aren't necessarily qualified to undertake this type of task in the civilian world.
Above all, you'll need a rare mix of knowing when to be assertive and when to give in to the whims of your customer. And don't apply if you're no good at dealing with change.
The sort of risks that one is inevitably exposed to will be anything that is unpredictable. A good close protection team should plan ahead, should be able to identify and assess those types of risks that either they can plan against or should at least prepare against.
After the induction session, the trainees are ready for a sample assignment. The brief in the car is the following. Escort a Tom Cruise lookalike from his hotel to a nearby press conference. A simple test to see how the novices react out in the open. Can they think intuitively? How are their interpersonal skills with the client? And can they blend in with the crowd? Real agents are a lot more than guerrilla bodyguards, a term they despise. They have to be professionals who look and talk like their clients. Will monitors their progress from headquarters. They fall into position outside and make their first mistake.
Now, in a normal situation, they would probably go into the building. They go up to the hotel room, they go into the conference room, the office, wherever it might be to collect the principal. He's a little too stationary here. He should be looking around. Now, the principal's walked out. Those two guys seem to go straight through. The guy on the front point there should have really seen and looked to see whether those guys were going to create a problem and should have actually diverted them elsewhere. That's a big worry because they could be a possible threat.
Most kidnaps and abductions occur within a mile from where the principal or client is staying. Celebrities pay between 7 and 35,000 euros a day for protection. The team had better get this right.
Ooh, that's not a good sign. If the principal starts doing that, that says he's nervous and he's worried. Is there someone behind me? The team should be closing in. They should be reassuring him. They should be asking, you know, are you okay, boss? Anything on your mind?
The streets look harmless enough. But would the apprentices know a threat if they saw one? Even this lookalike knows that sometimes the biggest risk comes from perfectly ordinary looking people.
But she's looking off this way. Why is she looking off this way? She should be looking here. She should be looking to this direction. Ah, here we go. First surprise. Now this is common. I've had this myself happen many, many times. There are some crazy people in the world. We love them, otherwise we'd be out of a job. However, it's dealing with them carefully. That wasn't handled too badly. They caught up. They dealt with it. However, he should be growing some eyes in the back of his head. What's to say she's not going to come back again? And here we go. And our second surprise.
Not good. Even this friendly fan planted by Will throws the trainees off their stride. They should have said no to the girl and moved on, staying in formation. The crime is now exposed, and were this for Will would be extremely worried.
Now they've made that fatal mistake. They're going into an enclosed environment. There's no public witnesses to potentially help or assist. And they've gone down, they've taken the celebrity down there without really checking out the area first. That was a bad idea, but it's exactly what I knew they would do.
The other two are locked out. Risk assessment and VIP journey management are vital skills that you'll need to learn to do this job.
Here we go.
Both protection officers have been knocked unconscious and the client is in serious danger. The team has failed. They'll get a gentle debriefing rather than the sack for having a kidnapped or dead celebrity on their hands.
Okay, team. It's been a day and a half, but you've only learned what we would probably estimate to be 10% of what this job involves. What you will have realized is you have to be prepared for the unpredictable. You have to make your plans and your contingencies for every type of event you could be faced with, from the frenetic fan through to the kidnap attempt of your principal. But first and foremost, beyond your own personal safety, you will have to make a commitment when you take on this job that it is your principal's safety and their life that comes before yours. Today you perform well, more practice, you'll perform better. Well done.
Out in the real world of celebrity protection, the highs are safe clients and a luxury lifestyle. The lows? Broken bones and being on call 24/7. Do you have the rare inner and outer qualities to take this on? Next up, a job in the South Pacific we bet you've never even heard of. This is a land where a career as a farmer is taken to new heights. Meet the land diving farmers of the Vanuatu archipelago. To make the grade in this job, you certainly need a unique approach of mind and body. Pentecost is just one of 80 jungle islands that are home to some of the most remote tribes on the planet. Warren is the chief's son. He's a land diver farmer and has another, more taxing job. He manages the Land Diving Festival. It's a tough job because tribal superstition runs deep. If it's a poor harvest, the farmers will blame him. If the homemade bungee ropes hold and no one's hurt, the yams will grow in abundance. No pressure though. The divers fall at around 70 kilometres per hour. easily enough speed to shatter bones on impact, and blood vessels in the retina can burst and cause blindness. Unlike modern bungee jumping, the aim of the game here is to actually hit the ground. You have to know how to land, shoulders first, to avoid serious injury. This adrenaline-fueled ancient ritual is one of the most important aspects of being a Vanuatu farmer.
We can only collect the lianas for the naghol ceremony in April and May, because this is when they're really juicy from taking up water in the rainy season. It's the only time that they're elastic enough, so that at the naghol we can tie them to our feet like rope and make our jumps.
Amazingly, the Naghol festival has only ever killed one person in living memory. Wara is ultimately responsible for collecting the best materials, and therefore for everyone's safety. He also guides young apprentices. Dive school begins after circumcision at the age of 3. First from the shoulders of their fathers, then from rocks and trees until they're 7. The most challenging part of Wara's job is overseeing the construction of the Naghol Tower. It'll take 5 weeks, built around a single 30-metre tree, stripped of its branches and equipped with scaffolding made of over 6,000 metres of vine and 1,000 logs.
For us, the tower is like a man's body. The part at the top is the head. Lower down are the shoulders, chest and stomach. Then the thigh and knee. The bottom of the tower is standing on its feet like a human. If it wasn't built like this, it would fall down.
Dislocated hips, blurred vision, pain in the ankles and neck, headaches and dizziness are all occupational hazards. And if the vines aren't supple enough, they won't hold at all, with a sometimes catastrophic outcome. When one man, Pio, dived 7 years ago, his head hit the ground too early. He stood up, took 6 paces and collapsed. He's now paralysed.
My life has totally changed. Looking back, I know it would have been better not to jump. The naghol was very dangerous. You can die doing it.
With Wara's job as organiser, builder and teacher all but done, his father, the chief, presides over the traditional opening ceremonies to ward off evil spirits and black magic.
We follow strict traditions for the naghol, which has been passed down from grandfather to father to son. This means that the ceremony is the same today as it's always been.
One final, major responsibility awaits Wara. He must jump.
When I first jumped, I was 8 years old. I was afraid, but now I've jumped so many times, I'm not afraid anymore.
He made it, and blesses the earth with his head and shoulders. Can mental preparation help protect you from spinal injury, torn ligaments and aching muscles?
You jump only when you want to jump. It depends on you. Nobody tells you have to do it. If you don't want to jump, you just leave the tower. Nobody is angry with you. But you have to work in the garden, and you're not allowed to dance with the men.
Fatalities are rare. The only one in living memory witnessed by the Queen of England at a ceremony in 1974. The vines were too dry and they snapped. All credit to Warren for seeing that the jumper's weight, down to the last kilo, is matched to his vine. And to the farmers themselves, for their physical agility and mental toughness. Now, the moment of truth. The last farmer takes his stand at the highest point of the Nagol Tower. If he dies, the crops are doomed. Warre will be disgraced.
Our men are very strong, and today we have celebrated the biggest naghol of all time at a height of 40 metres.
This time we've had no accidents and no one is hurt. I'm very proud of my tribe and myself.
The burden of men's lives has weighed heavily on Warre's shoulders for many weeks. He used knowledge and faith to make his task easier. But if this job would be a leap too far for you, there are others that require equal measures of body and soul. On the cutting edge of Zen-like perfection are the men who make Japanese sushi knives. It can take a lifetime to master this rough trade. And it's a job where you need to see yourself as less important than your product. But being this selfless can put you in the highest esteem. Some of the world's finest sushi blades come from one place, Sakai, Japan, around 400 kilometers west of Tokyo. The carbonized steel that's created here is some of the highest quality in the world. Patience and skill, handed down through over thousands of years of tradition. Could you put in at least 10 years as an apprentice to become a master knife maker? This man has. Master Keijiro Doi, 77 years old, the great master of Japanese swordsmithery. In truth, he makes kitchen knives, not swords, as many as 10 a day. His sushi knives are so sharp, you'd slice your finger from just touching the blade.
I was taught everything I know by my grandfather, and he himself by his grandfather.
Working practices here haven't changed for 4 centuries, though modern electronics are creeping in. It must be sad for Doi to know there's not many waiting to step into his shoes. There aren't many apprentices with the patience and inner zeal to take this on. Doi's best work is made from a unique combination of metals. The base is a soft iron, which is impossible to sharpen. So Doi adds a steel alloy, coated with boric acid.
This piece of metal that I put on the blade is made of 3 different sorts of steel that have different grades of carbon and therefore different grades of temper. Only merging them creates a special brittle blade that can be sharpened.
The carbon gives the steel a tough edge for razor sharpening. Heat destroys the carbon, so Doi must know precisely how and when to apply heat to give the sushi knife its edge in the kitchen. Shigeaki Uchida is the sushi master and head cook in a top Tokyo restaurant, and one of Doi's best customers. Sushi knives must be sharpened on one edge only, so they're made for either left hands or right hands, but not both. A single-sided blade means less food sticks to the knife, and it peels away fish far more neatly. Speed might be the essence of modern production, but for Doi, it's the exact opposite. His trade is all about repetition, sweat and endurance. He works long hours, but wisely, only 4 days a week. Time for sharpening on a whetstone. Not just one whetstone, but 3 different grades. There's a condition called knife maker's elbow. You'd think Doi would have it by now. Hammering the cooling blade packs the metal molecules together to give strength. Once he's happy with the thickness, he marks up the size and shape. Each knife is unique. One momentary loss of concentration could mean he has to start all over again. And he would, too. Then back to the oven one last time. Dipping the blade in mud stops it from blistering.
First, I have to pay attention to the oven. It should be around 800 degrees Celsius, as well as the right time for dipping. I have to pay attention to how long the blade stays in the water. In the end, it's a question of timing.
Everything in this job is down to precision timing. And so much specialist knowledge explains why the apprenticeship in this job takes decades. At the end of the day, a fantastic knife means fantastic food. And learning how to use the knife is a trade in itself. A sushi apprentice will not cut a single piece of fish until he learns how to sharpen and move the knife at exactly the right angle. Master Doi takes the knife to Mr. Yukinori Uda, who spent 50 years at the grindstone. The weird stalagmites are from decades worth of metal and stone fragments built up on the wall as he grinds. This trade is not for everyone. Only a certain kind of person copes with such attention to detail and strict routine. Finally, only perfect knives leave the workshop and end up at the engravers. Like the name of a chateau on a fine wine, the maker's signature is everything. And after all that, you wouldn't want a shoddy handle to spoil things. Rare hardwoods, ebony and silver are favourites. And the price of one of Master Doi's kitchen knives? Anywhere up to 8,500 euros. You could buy a car instead, or a Rolex. But ultimately, you're paying for intense craftsmanship and a lifetime's achievement. Three jobs where it pays not to cut corners. The knife maker's sacrifice is paid back with great earnings, almost as much as the celebrity protector. But the land-diving farmer who risks everything for his crops, surely he tops the Zen charts. Some jobs require inner calm and outer strength. celebrity protection, where your own safety must come second. Extreme farming in the South Pacific. And a lifetime in training, just to make knives. Which trade tops the Zen charts for you? Some jobs require a very special mindset, and you can only access them by first becoming an apprentice. And are you willing to put your life in danger protecting someone else? Specialises in training new recruits.
Welcome to your day of close protection training.
They're all physically fit and know some martial arts, but it's not enough.
I found myself accidentally getting into this industry when I was based in the Far East as a competitive martial artist. I got brought on by a number of Chinese businessmen who wanted a secure escort when they were traveling around with either sensitive documentation or with briefcases of cash. And in the most basic sense, they simply wanted to make sure they got to their destinations.
But Will soon found out there was more to the job than being a bodyguard. This multi-billion-dollar industry is tough to crack. Attitude comes first. The job isn't about muscle.
The qualifications for someone entering into close protection these days are far more exacting. They're far more highly professional. And individuals that may have even walked out of special forces aren't necessarily qualified to undertake this type of task in the civilian world.
Above all, you'll need a rare mix of knowing when to be assertive and when to give in to the whims of your customer. And don't apply if you're no good at dealing with change.
The sort of risks that one is inevitably exposed to will be anything that is unpredictable. A good close protection team should plan ahead, should be able to identify and assess those types of risks that either they can plan against or should at least prepare against.
After the induction session, the trainees are ready for a sample assignment. The brief in the car is the following. Escort a Tom Cruise lookalike from his hotel to a nearby press conference. A simple test to see how the novices react out in the open. Can they think intuitively? How are their interpersonal skills with the client? And can they blend in with the crowd? Real agents are a lot more than guerrilla bodyguards, a term they despise. They have to be professionals who look and talk like their clients. If so, then fall in with our trainee celebrity protectors on Max Alert in the streets of London, headquarters of a leading close protection and threat management company. Will Geddes is Managing Director of the International Corporate Protection Group, ICP. He's 39, and for 2 decades the rich and famous have entrusted him with their personal safety.
It is our responsibility and duty to ensure that we intercept and plan against any type of threat that could potentially present itself.
Will still works the front line, but